Good on you, listener. You've found the Gorgon Posse podcast of Medusa Rising, world-building women. We have huge ambitions, so we create and publish slowly and thoughtfully. We seek to deepen support and coalition among feminists globally and to publish new writing and art by women in order to facilitate that coalition building. Thriving movements draw on grassroots work, spiritual traditions, mutual aid networks, personal growth, and on theory. We're here with you in all of that becoming because we know at Medusa Rising that patriarchy is an interlocking social, psychological, legal, economic, and cultural system that supports male supremacy. It was born in the commodification, rape, and murder of women. And now it is reasserting its drive to dominance in both far right and far left political and cultural movements. It has existed in remarkably consistent forms for 5,000 years, and Medusa Rising means for this millennium to be its last. To share your work with us, or tell us about a great feminist organization you want us all to know about, or subscribe to our newsletter, click on over to medusarising.org. Meanwhile, stay rad, stay witchy, and be good to each other. I'm Esmée Streachailt, founder and editor of this joint, and today, my guest is me. This post is entitled Free People / Civil Unrest, because deep austerity and climate catastrophes can intensify and bring these troubles to all of our shores and doors. Medium-term disruptions from climate breakdown, or in my case, Trump fallout, or both, mean that civil unrest can occur pretty quickly in many parts of the world. In some circumstances, sabotage is not beyond imagination. Medusa Rising is absolutely not trying to frighten our people. We are trying to look at the moment squarely in the eye. As I said the other day on Zitter, in response to Canada and Mexico launching their own $120 billion northern corridor to go around U.S. tariffs and customs, I said, see, the problem with fascists is they're not creative thinkers. They can't solve problems. They can only repeat old forms of destruction with tools made by formerly free people. Free people are inventive, exploratory risk takers. We don't shut down options. We don't limit people's ability to contribute. We definitely do not off-shoulder our life-making and decision-taking to any dear leader, chairman, or duce. Free people find a way through trouble and make way for others on the way. You know, feminists. I'm thinking of coping skills and tactics for getting through actively troubled times. Civil unrest, thanks to government austerities or climate catastrophes. There's stages to these events that affect electricity and fuel or emergency services in hospitals. And there are knock-on effects like long delays restocking local groceries or serious damage to physical infrastructure. I mean, all of this before real complete breakdown, right? We're feminists. So here's a very practical both-and approach. And I'm offering this in the most general terms. Because the thing is, whether it's climate or fascists, we need to be ready for lots of things to stop working smoothly and invisibly. You know, I can hear readers living in regions with inconsistent infrastructure laughing right now. I get it. We, in the weird countries, are soft and pampered from centuries of living off the spoils of empire. Fair enough. No argument here. But people in these weird countries are precious to me, so I mean to see them survive. And nearly all of them are feminists. We are not in full emergency everywhere now, but I think we can all smell the smoke or hear the flood coming. The U.S. Fascist Party and collaborators have devised a system in Project 2025, implemented by what's nicknamed the Big Beautiful Bill. It's a complete rewriting of American society. that slowly boils the frog of its own base. Medicaid, which is health insurance in the US for about 60% of the population, for example, runs mostly dry after 2026. That's next year. They even got another little addendum out of the committee that clarifies the definition of employee in the Labor Rights Act. It makes just about everyone in the U.S. a freelance contractor, not directly, but it allows for all the necessary shenanigans and absolves companies of nearly all obligations as regards Social Security tax or health insurance benefits. Kind of like the way women were redefined, nuanced into a subclass of our own sex class by the trans-captured left. Only with much more dire effect. If you remove the requirement that corporations or employers pay the Social Security tax and pay for health insurance benefits for their employees, you create infinitely more precarity for working people. They become far more subject to capricious choices like the ones we've seen so far coming out of the MAGA administration. This one's for people looking forward to those good manufacturing jobs, right? These jobs that were going to come back that had all those benefits that they had in the 1950s, the security, like LOL, everybody. But once all these working people, the MAGA base, notice that the actual big, beautiful bill does not return us to the 1950s and all of the security that came with having a good manufacturing job back then, but rather returns us to something more like the 1890s when there were no protections for workers or citizens. And once they notice that, these are the folks most likely to agitate, to wreck and wreak their anger around with arms and big trucks and their toxic masculinity and higher inclinations to psychopathy. There's a link there to a study that actually shows that there are higher rates of psychopathy among the MAGA. No surprise. So, as women who live among unpredictable men in systems that allow them to target us for the exercise of their frustrations, we prepare. We build community. This is the both part, both community. We build deeply connected, multifaceted community separate from official state governments and systems. This needs to be informal but honor-bound networks, councils, teams given the care of a particular element of keeping the community together, sheltered, fed, hydrated, and responsive to further developments. Especially in dense population living conditions like apartment buildings or townhouse subdivisions, these areas can run out of most supplies pretty quickly if they are partially or completely cut off from logistics supply lines. Share tips on affordable tools or supplies. Even short-term prepping can become a pricey game. Also, sharing agreements across your local community and agreements on consequences for breaking them. Accountability is key. Help each other get through. But nobody can fake out. Nobody can act in bad faith. Consider the ages and abilities of your people, your community. Account for and support these folks. There are no people who have nothing to offer. There are no expendable people. Don't promise more than you can contribute. If others rely on resources or skill you don't actually have at the ready, consequences can land hard. If your community thinks some folks are expendable, you are the problem we are facing right now. We want to make it through the hard time, so that from these survivor communities, we begin to move into partnership in matriarchal structures. These are social structures founded in accountability rather than in violence. Here there's a link to a recent article by the wisdom mother, Ryan Eisler, leading the shift from a dominator to a partnership culture at a journal called The Systems Thinker. You will also want to shift to regenerative system, whole systems design for our infrastructure, our new industry, our new agriculture and economy. Here I have a link to a website called Free Permaculture run by Heather Jo Flores. Whole systems design, how to live more sustainably. So that's the both part, both community. That's the forward-looking part, right? Community, sustainability, permaculture, systems. But this is the and part, and defense. Prepare your people to endure both on the move or sheltering. Breakdown is not an event, it is a state of things, it is a process. Make a plan, share the plan, follow the plan. Even with your people far away, have a plan for staying in touch, where to meet up, what to bring, where you're going to go next, what you do when you get there. At least have an idea, because if you have a plan, at least you have some kind of preparation in place. You may have to adapt because, as everybody in logistics will tell you, no plan survives contact. But not having a plan leaves you in a state of chaos. Have the plan, share the plan, follow the plan. Build a go bag or an emergency bucket. You might need extras of your medications, your prescriptions. I mean, like regular over-the-counter stuff, your prescriptions. Might want to think about an antibiotic kit just in case shit gets really wild out there. Extra first aid, your documents. Think natural disaster prep, because civil unrest and even temporary social breakdown is of the magnitude of a natural disaster, right? So that kind of prep, but think like maybe your house got destroyed in the hurricane. That kind of prep is the sort of thing you want to do. Have a way to communicate. Have several ways to communicate and get information. Agree before trouble starts where you're going to go, how you will find each other, and what to prepare to do next. Look for reliable alternatives to cell phones. Each group needs a NOAA or other emergency radio, whatever the emergency radio is in your particular country or region. Walkie-talkies can be useful in many contexts. Radios and flashlights that hand crank for their energy. Portable solar panels are pretty fucking great. And they're not expensive. Like, I've got a really good portable solar panel that was $40. And it may work forever. As far as I can tell, it's a pretty durable little thing. Lockdown, if you have to. This is the last thing you want to do. Lockdown in place. If you have to do that, you want water, food, and more water. Find the most secure or securable space in your home or your location. Even if it's temporary, this spot may be necessary. But you do want to be prepared to move. Usually staying in one place is the worst of all possible strategies. Prepare to defend your people physically. This is a hard one. We are a peace-loving people. We partnership, society, matriarchal, feminist types. But a civil unrest situation is a militant situation. We don't all want to be armed, I know, and most of us are not trained. So here, once again, I recommend some self-defense training at a minimum for all of the able-bodied people in your group. Maybe even some more offensive skills for those among your people who are willing to learn them and apply them. Think creatively about the defensive objects or the objects around you that can be used defensively. There is the standby baseball bat, a broomstick, a shovel, a rake, a pitchfork, you know the scene. But, you know, cricket bats and heck, even a really heavy porcelain jar can be thrown. So, you know, recontextualize things in your head in ways that will help you defend people. We might need to prepare to be violent or to fend off violence. And to be honest, some of us are loners no matter what, so hunkering down and defending one's own place might be the only attractive option for some people. Assess, plan, act, rinse, repeat. I'm saying this only because the only way we get to a new world is to have a lot of free people, and those free people are going to have to get through fascism or climate catastrophes or random combinations of both. So let us try to be a little bit ready. There's lots of good sources out there in the world that will help you kind of think through some of these problems and some of the ways to respond to them. But in order to build community, we have to live through the breakdown, of the poly crisis and all that. So just a little thought on the difference between free people and enslaved people and what to do in a case of civil unrest. Because all these people who think that they are on top right now, that their guy has their back, that he loves them more than anybody, they're about to find out how much he doesn't love anybody. And I don't think their response is going to be like chill or easy. I don't think it's going to be systemic. It'll be spotty, but I don't know where everybody lives. So just offering the basics of a way of thinking your way through those possible consequences of the times we are in. Because these ferocious shitweasels are not going to slow down until we stop them. Okay. You be good out there. Be safe. Take care of each other. And I will talk to you soon. Now you get the outro for the podcast. Okay. Sisters, listeners, for the gift of your attention. We know your life energy is precious, and so is ours. We make this podcast for free, so you can pay us by telling your feminist friends about it. Like it, share it, recommend this RadMat Fem conversation everywhere that you're listening to us. Because manipulating the algorithm is a postmodern form of magic, and we need to make that system feminist. Tend to yourselves, stay witchy, and build worlds for women over at medusarising.org. I'll see you soon.